So, David, I was at the dog park the other week.
Oh, nice.
Very nice with our wonderful little rescue Thai. And I call him little, but I'm not sure what size he is. So,
Well, how big is he? I mean,
well, he's 36 pounds and expanding.
all right.
So, at the dog park, there's a sign that says large dogs and small dogs, and they're right next to each other. And there's two pens, and you take your dog into either pen. And I'm standing there thinking, I'm not sure, is Ty a small dog? There's some really big dogs in the big pen. And so, as always, I look at everything as a lesson and started to think about fundraising and donors and how it's easy to automatically profile or put certain donors in one of those, either they're large donors or they're small donors, and which is fine, and that's important, right?
It's important, but should we really be making those kind of assumptions about donors?
You led me right into it. No, that's my point. And how many times, you know this, and my clients know, and I talk about it a lot, is don't make decisions for your donors.
Yeah.
How often do we make decisions for your donors? So, right, the best way to ask, or the best way to find out, is at the appropriate time, right? At the appropriate time in the relationship, when I built trust, is to start asking questions that would help us figure out together. Maybe the donor doesn't know, right? Maybe the donor doesn't realize, you know what? Especially in planned giving, we see that a lot,
Yeah,
right? A donor
absolutely.
says, well, I didn't tell you you're in my will because it's only $50,000. Well, actually,
That's a pretty nice
right?
gift.
Our average bequest is $35,000. That's actually a really nice bequest. People don't always think that they are big donors.
Well, you get that all the time too when you're talking to a donor. You need to be talking to the guys with money. I don't have money. I'm not a big. I don't have the wealth.
Right.
You know, and you're right. There's a lot of development officers that kind of conceive that that's what the donor's about, and the reality it's not.
Right. And we know just because they have money, capacity, doesn't mean they're charitable.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
If they have capacity and are charitable, doesn't mean they're going to do it with us, right? And if somebody is giving at a low level, doesn't mean they don't have capacity.
That's true.
Maybe they were never asked or cultivated.
Or maybe there's
do
other
more.
they're worried about outliving their the funds that they have. I've had situations where I've had a very loyal donor. It was about $25 a year, 40, 50 years, passed away. We knew they were in the will, never willing to talk about it. Never, it was $1.5 million. Our preconception was that it was never there. Didn't live high off the hog. The real estate was a house that they kind of grew up in. Never moved into the the better neighborhoods. But yet there were assets there. But we thought not to really we stewarded them, but probably stewarded them as a small donor and not the large donor. And but again, we thought because based on our patterns, where they lived, the way they lived, not a lot of money there. Not worth our effort and our time. And that was a big mistake. I mean, it turned out okay for us. But I see that all the time.
Well, and that's another big point that I wanted to make in this video, is that as planned giving donors, we're major donors.
Oh, yeah.
And I see, without naming names, I see organizations that don't treat us as major donors. What I mean by that, they don't really communicate with us. They send us generic mailings, a postcard once in a while that says, would you put us in your will? And I get the card and I'm like, you're already in my will. Why are you asking me to do it again, right? It's just some real simple, subtle things I would recommend if you're a large organization, especially a university, and you have major donor events, invite your planned giving donors to major donor events, right? Not that I don't want to go. I really don't care either way, but back with my fundraiser hat on, is why are all the wealthy people are here at this major donor event? Why are the planned giving donors not invited?
That's a good point, because we often don't include them, or the major gift department doesn't look at our donors as major donors. Let me ask you a question, because I know you talk about this a lot when you're talking to groups and you talk about your own experience. Mm-hmm. And I know that you've set up a scholarship at a university. I won't mention unless you want to. And it's a nice sum. Mm-hmm. To you, though, that's in your mind, That's a major, major gift.
It is.
And even though that amount in the mind of the university isn't millions and millions of dollars, it's in your mind a major gift, and therefore we should be treating you, recognizing that's the largest gift you're going to make in your lifetime.
Yes.
You're a major donor.
Yes.
And that's the fallacy. We don't look at it from your, a lot of times we don't look at it through the donor's eyes.
Right.
Donor that gives us $10 a year for 25 years and leaves us $10,000 to them, that's a major gift.
Yeah, and they know, right? They know. I don't know. Was there a question in there?
No, it was
Oh,
more of
statement.
kind of a
Right, and they know. We told them.
illustration.
We have it set up. We have a. Yes, it is revocable. And what do you think about that? I see that a lot. People say, "What's revocable? Why are we?" They could change their mind, and yes, we may change our mind if we have, God forbid, a major health disaster. Either my wife or I, they may not get it. Who knows, right? But the intention is there. So
the intention's there
Yeah.
now,
Mm-hmm.
and you're in your 30s.
Start.
Again, this goes back to the stewardship and how we treat you as whether you're a major donor or not. People will take you out. Donors will take you out of their wills or their whatever the estate vehicle is. If life changes and they need the funds. Some other things change that are out of your control, family situations, etc., where maybe with a grandchild they get sick or they need money or not, so they'll make those changes. That has nothing to do with you. But they'll also take you out of the will if they feel as if you don't want their money, you've been forgotten. I know a lot of organizations that have, you've sent in a card and said, hey, I'm in your will. They thank you profusely, and that's the last I hear for you. 35 years, and they're wondering 35 years later why I wasn't in the will. Things sometimes will take you out if there's something that happens at the charity that they don't like. And if you're not ready to go and talk to them and explain, okay, we understand where you're coming from, and here's what we're doing, and this is why that happened, you lose the risk of losing those funds. So the moral to the story is you need to steward your plan giving donor just as you would any major gift officer, and you need to do it for the rest of their life. Otherwise, that revocable gift, more likely than not, will revoke.
Yes, and the other thing I like to add to that is, and cultivate them to potentially increase that plan gift commitment.
Absolutely.
We talk about in another video, the donor's first plan giving intention does not have to be the last. No. If properly cultivated, they may be open to increasing it. We've done that.
And oftentimes, as they're getting older and realize where their lot in life is, as they
feeling
get
more
into
secure.
their age, feeling more secure,
Mm-hmm.
I'm starting to see them pay it forward and say, hey, I want to create that endowment now. I want to start having you use the monies, the funds now. So I see that a lot too, but that's only because we've stewarded and kept them involved throughout, the tenure of the gift that they gave us.
Yeah, good stuff. So what are some takeaways in this video? Don't make decisions for your donors. Build trust with donors to have the conversation to really understand. Just because their wealth rating is high and they have $10 million in real estate doesn't mean
that they're going to leave it to you in an estate.
or that they have the liquid assets to give $10 million, right?
True.
Just because it looks that way on paper.
Another lesson is you need to steward. You need to treat those donors as if they're a major donor, and you need to keep them included in your mission as they get older.
And your portfolio.
Right. Yeah, please don't say thank you and then have no contact with that donor for the next 35 years.
And if you have 500, 600 Plan Giving Society members, I always say you could figure it out. You can figure out a way. We're smart people. If you have 500 or 600 Legacy Society members, chances are you have a pretty big staff, I would think. And even if you just divvied up those names and everybody called, or volunteers called, everybody once a year or twice a year.
You want to touch them at least once.
Right.
Minimum of once.
Yeah. If you would like more information, ideas, you'd like to talk to us about how we can help you build a sustainable, thriving gift planning program, please contact us at info@giftplanningdevelopment.com or call us 610-653-7906. All right there, Big Dog?
All right. And I'm David Toll.
And I'm Joe Tumolo.